Fit check first. This is the look. We had drag brunch this morning. I got to wear a little suit set, and it has sparkles. And my dog wants to come in here. Come on in. You want people to see you? You want people to see you? This is my baby. Okay. Hey there, it's Shannon, and welcome to my No Buy Year. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me as I do not buy makeup or skincare, fabric or yarn, clothing or accessories, books or homewares in 2024. No buys and declutters can sometimes go hand in hand. It feels like they're often presented together by the same creators. And it makes you wonder, can decluttering have a dark side? Or if not a dark side, maybe a downside. In this video, we'll dig into it. My laundry is going, so we're gonna find out if that's a problem. Hopefully, it's not a big deal. If it is, we're gonna power through. Laundry has to be done. You have to get that wear out of your clothes. And fair warning, there's a lot to unpack here. So some of you might want a cozy little drink or a nice beverage or cozy blanket, a little snack as we break this down. If you're interested in anything pertaining to sustainable fashion, sustainable living, no buys, gardening, permaculture, those are the kind of things that we talk about here. I hope you'll subscribe. And for now, enjoy that cozy beverage as we break this down. So I, by necessity, had to rearrange my closet recently. My husband had to move some things around. He had to move some of his items from one place to another, and that necessitated me shifting the organization of my own items in the closet. And in that process, I noticed several categories of things that I may want to declutter at some point in the near future, including nail polish, jewelry, clothes, t-shirts, and shoes. I have resisted the noticeable urge to declutter thus far this year. I think anytime you're doing a no-buy, it can be forefront in your mind, but I'm really wanting to make sure that I can do without those items in a sustainable way, and that it's not just the hyper-fixation of the no-buy leading me to want to declutter and streamline my closet and my collections and my life. And while that's still the case, where I'm sort of luxuriating in the novelty of my no-buy without feeling pressure to eliminate my extraneous items at this point in time, there are a couple of other factors at play. And one of those is that I don't want to feed into the drawbacks to declutters that I see sometimes on social media and here on YouTube. You might be thinking, Shannon, what is the problem with decluttering? What could possibly be bad about that? If you have too many things, getting rid of them can only be a good thing. And while that might be the case for some people, I think for others, decluttering can really drive consumption. And decluttering videos can be a way to drive consumption in a way that makes you feel good while you're doing it. If you love watching decluttering videos, you're not alone. I love them too. It scratches like the back of my brain, the same part of my brain that is scratched by watching the satisfying videos where people cut sand or squish slime or shave soap. The same type of satisfaction for me is achieved by watching decluttering videos. And as it turns out, there's an actual neurological reason for that. It's no secret that the brain craves order, and we don't love uncertainty. And there's some neurological studies that show that uncertainty can actually trigger your brain into paying more close attention, to focusing, and that can lead to exhaustion and overwork. Part of the reason why when you've had a really uncertain day at work, you come home and you're just wiped out. The base level predictability of deep cleaning videos, of declutter videos, allow our brains the ability to relax and let go and to just sort of sit in the back seat and watch that video play and watch that drive the truck. And we don't have to pay quite as close attention and we get a chance to relax. But what it can also do is function as a mechanism to facilitate the acquisition of new things. As someone who struggled with disordered eating for many years, it feels sometimes like these declutters are just a possession-focused binge and purge, honestly. Like, that's the closest analogy I can come up with, where you binge your closet, you have this huge, overwhelming amount of possessions, and then people declutter it all only to gather it all up and make room for more and do it all over again. I think anyone who is familiar with like compulsive type behaviors will recognize this gather, eliminate, repeat cycle over and over and over again. They'll recognize those patterns. Decluttering can also create unrealistic expectations on both sides of a camera, of the decluttering experience. It can lead people to feel like they don't have enough items, and it can lead people to actually use declutters as haul videos where they're using it to buy things and they're using the declutter as like a review system to buy items. And it can also cause the person to feel like their collection is either not enough, not worthy, so they have to do those things, or like their collection is too much and too unwieldy, and it can fuel this guilt machine of the things I have are overwhelming and I'm not a minimalist and that's bad and I should get rid of more things, I should be tougher, things like that. And this is especially true in the era of online influencers, where these people are, make no mistake, largely getting paid to make these things. And I think in the world of digital creators who are getting paid to do declutter videos, that can be really insidious because they're getting paid to either sneak product placement into declutter videos and encourage people to buy items as they themselves supposedly declutter, or it's just by feeding the cycle of let me eliminate items so that I can collect more things to cover and make more videos. So they have a vested interest in collecting things only to purge them later. I am a firm believer that absorbing content that makes you feel bad about yourself or makes you feel guilty has a cumulative effect. And so the more content you watch that's way, the more you feel that way. So it's my goal when making any kind of content, but especially were I to make declutters, to make it crystal clear that A, this channel isn't making any money. Like this teensy tiny little channel, I don't get anything from making a declutter video. And B, that I will be attempting to declutter in the spirit with which that I think we all hope to approach it, which is to eliminate items from my collections and in that brain scratching way that is also slow and sustainable and contributes to my overall goals attributable to my no-buy. And another thing that I think the declutters is utterly unrealistic in the process. Like most people I know who declutter don't have this beautifully well lit table to lay everything out on and pick through and, you know, ponder and make, it's like this beautiful, relaxing, cathartic process. Most people that I know that need to declutter end up doing it. They're sitting on the floor of their closet, they're surrounded by nonsense, they've got piles of things everywhere, and they're stressed the out. Like, that's just my impression of what a lot of declutters look like. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me and my issues, and that's why I'm doing a no-buy. Like, maybe that's it. But I also think that, again, it drives that comparison train where the way you declutter is not beautiful and perfect and peaceful, and you shouldn't be so stressed out when you declutter, and like you should wait and you should try to set the scene or give yourself a setting for when you declutter, and doing it on the floor of your closet when you're actively organizing it isn't enough. Like, that's enough. If you're decluttering, however that looks like for you is fine. You don't have to have a professional organizer come to your house and do it. You don't have to lay everything out in the Marie Kondo way and then approach it. If any of those things are helpful, that's amazing and do it. But if it's not, do what works for you. And the thing I think we forget too is that a lot of influencers receive packages and PR packages. I don't, especially not because it's my no-buy year, but also this channel is tiny. But when that happens, you have an overwhelming collection of things, and you can let it go because like you didn't spend money on it in the first place. Like, you didn't buy it. So that connection to it isn't as strong. It's easier to get rid of something that someone sent you that you didn't ask for than it is something that you bought with your own money, and you're watching the money that you spent go away. I don't think we focus on that aspect of it at all. And that's a part of it. That's part of what makes decluttering hard for people, is they spent money on these things. And these are pieces of their funds. For some, they're pieces of their life. They're pieces of memories for some people. And so it's hard to get rid of those things. And it's okay if decluttering is hard for you. It's okay. And you shouldn't be holding yourself to standards set by influencers who are giving away things that they never asked for in the first place, or who are giving away things that they never paid for in the first place. It's comparing apples to oranges, and these scenarios are not the same, and you shouldn't be conflating those two things as the same when you're viewing it. Does this mean that I'm going to stop watching declutter videos? Absolutely not. And if anything, I think that watching that type of content, as opposed to hauls and consumption videos, has been integral in my success with my no-buy thus far. That being said, what it does do is make me even more determined that as I perform my own declutter throughout the upcoming year, I do so with discernment and in a way that doesn't drive the comparison and consumption trains. So here's to that, and here's to you, manifesting magic in your own life. Bye now.